All right, this is 5th grade Excel, lesson 108. We're going to be learning about Roman numerals today. And this can be quite tricky for a lot of kids, so really pay attention to this. You do have this chart in your glossary that comes with the Excel. So when you forget these, which you probably will, make sure you refer to the chart so you can be an independent learner. It says we use Arabic numerals to write numbers. That's like this, 13, 27. Those are Arabic. The early Romans used different notation, as shown below. The number 1 in Arabic, the way we write it, was like an I. And then 5 is a V, 10 is an X, 50 is an L, 100 a C, like centimeters and cents. That's the way I remember that one. 500 is a D, and 1,000, like millimeters and milliliters, is an M. I don't have much of a trick for remembering the 500 or the 50. But the C, centimeters, cents for 100, M, millimeters, milliliters for 1,000 makes it kind of easier for me to remember. It says Roman numerals are written in order from greatest to least value. When converting from Roman to Arabic, the values of each numeral are added together. This system does not use place value as Arabic does. So you're simply going to add all the pieces together. Now, it doesn't always work that way. These are the easy problems. So let's take a look at the easy ones here. First, we have an X meaning 10, we have a V meaning 5, and an I that means 1. When you add 10, 5, and 1, you get 16. So XVI in Roman numerals means the number 16. Here we have C, which means 100, L, which means 50, and then 2 X's, which is 10 and 10. When you do this, you can just write 20 if you'd like to for the XX. You add up 150, 10, and 10, you get 170. All right, go ahead and try numbers 3 and 4. Pause the video, turn it back on when you're ready for the solution. X, by looking at the chart, you can see is 10, V is 5, and you have 3 1s. You can write 1, 1, 1, or you can just write a 3. When you add those together, you get 18. Here's C, which is 100, and another 100, so you can write 100 and 100, or write 200. And L is equal to 50, so you just add those together to get 250. Alright, so there's our answers, and now what we're going to do is we're going to learn that there's actually a little bit more to it than that. And I'm going to teach you a different way of doing these things here. So pay attention to what the lesson says, but even pay more attention to what I'm telling you. So I don't do it the same way that the Excel shows, and I think my way is a lot easier. It says in any given number, a Roman numeral should only be repeated 3 times. Sometimes you might require a fourth. They have a typo in here. You might require a fourth numeral to show value, such as 4 or 9. When a lesser value number, like 9 or 90, precedes a number of greater value, 10 or 100, a single number is placed before the larger number and subtracted from it. So instead of writing V, you know, four I's, meaning 5 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1, so that would be 9. That breaks the 3 in a row rule. There's 4 I's in a row. You can't do more than 3 in a row. So what they're going to do is write it as IX. And in this case, the I meaning 1, the X meaning 10, this is a subtraction problem. And I'm going to show you in a minute how I solve these because they do get a little confusing and tricky. And instead of L with 4 X's, which would be 50 and 4 10s, which is 90, that breaks the 3 in a row rule. 1, 2, 3, 4. You can only put 3 in a row. You use XC. C means 100, X is 10. Since the X comes before the C, you subtract. You do 100 minus 10, and that's equal to 90. All right, if that part was confusing, go back and read it and watch it again because it can get a little tricky. So here's how I want you to do these problems. I'll show you on this first one. I want you to put dots on your paper, and we're going to show the dots going downhill when the numbers are getting smaller. So M is equal to 1,000, so we put a little dot here. X is equal to 10. 10 is less than 1,000, so I'm going to go downhill. Then we have another X, that's equal to the same. Do you see how I went kind of flat here? And then we have I, which is less than 10. Notice we go from x, this is 10, down to I, which is 1. And then the last one is a 5. And if this is 1, 5 is actually bigger, so it's actually going up. Then we connect the dots. At any place that pretend like you're kind of riding your bike down this hill. Okay, here you are on a bike. That's a really bad drawing, but you're going down this hill on a bike, and as long as you're going downhill, you're going to be adding speed to your Roman numeral. You're going to be adding together. But as soon as you go uphill, that's really hard. That gets negative, and that subtracts. So all these numbers here, all these Roman numerals get added together, but this part right here becomes a subtraction problem. And what I want you to do is actually circle the uphill part here, circle the uphill part that it represents, and this part becomes a subtraction problem. You have 1,000 for the m, you have two x's, which is 20, xx, 10, 10, 20, and then the circled part, you reverse the order, and instead of doing 1 minus 5, we do 5 minus 1. So you reverse the order of the Roman numerals and subtract when the numbers go uphill. So you have 1,000, you have 20, and then 5 minus 1 is equal to 4, so it's 1,024. All right, let's try number 6 together. You write this on your paper. C is 100. Put a dot right here. I is 1, so we definitely went downhill from 100 to 1. But x is 10, so that's going up. And I want to circle that part. Actually, let's connect the dots. Circle the part that's going uphill. Circle the same part on the actual Roman numeral that represents that uphill part. And then we're going to write our math equation. We've got 100. We're going downhill, but we're going to add, of course, because we're going downhill. But this part that's circled becomes a subtraction problem. That's a 1 and a 10. Now I'm going to put the 10, the bigger number first, 10 minus 1. And 10 minus 1 is equal to 9. So 100 plus 9 is 109. Be careful. If I were you guys, I would go back and watch this whole lesson again, especially the part where I'm showing you the subtraction on the Roman numerals. Excuse me, I can't tell you how many kids have missed these over the years. I've missed them on their tests, get stuck on them, get frustrated on them. Remember this lesson. This is one that you're really going to want to pay attention to. Okay, let's go ahead and pause the video. Try just number 7. Turn it back on when you're ready for the solution. All right, so D is equal to 500. Remember, make your little dots. You might want to do it down here. 500, and then we go down to 50, and then we go down to 1, because 1 is less than 50, but then 5 is more than 1. Connect the dots. 50, 500, 50, 1, and then back up to 5. This part right here goes uphill, so I'm going to circle the part that goes uphill. I'm going to write 500 for the D. We're adding because we're going downhill. 50, still going downhill, but then we hit the 1, and that 1 and the 5 are going uphill, so that part becomes a subtraction problem. 5 minus 1. So 500 plus 50 is 550. This is equal to 4. It's obviously 554. All right, pause the video, do number 8, turn it back on when you're ready to hear the solution. We start off with a 10. There's my 10. Then we go to 100. Well, that's going uphill right away, 10 to 100. And then we go to 1, which is downhill, and another 1. And by the way, if it's flat like that, that counts as like being downhill too. You add those together. So the part that's going uphill on this one is the beginning of it. So I'm going to circle these two. Those become a subtraction problem. So right off the bat, I'm going to switch the order and make a subtraction problem out of the 100 and the 10. 100 minus 10, and then I'm going to add my two i's together. And so 100 take away 10, of course, is 90, and then I add my 2. That's equal to 92. All right, so there you have it. There's the answer. And here are a couple more problems for you to try. With Roman numerals, don't forget to do the dots. Circle the uphill parts. Circle the parts in the actual Roman numerals. Pause the video, turn it back on when you're ready to see the solution. Okay, L is 50, so we're going to put a dot for 50. XX, that's downhill, evens out. Downhill again to the 1 for I. but then V is uphill. So it's gonna look like this: downhill, flattens out, but then it goes up right there. So this part here is the uphill part, and that would be the IV. So L is 50 plus XX 1010 2020, or 20 I should say, and then add my backwards part here. You're gonna put 5 minus 1 because 1 is less than 5. That's equal to 4. So the answer is 50 plus 20. That's 74. Okay, the next one, you have a C, another C, goes down to the X because it goes down to 10. L is 50, so it's coming back up, down to the 1, and then 5, that goes back up again. Connect the dots. This one's really complicated if you don't use my method. So this is all downhill. This part right here goes up, and this part right here goes up. So we actually have 2 spots to circle where it goes up. From the X to the L it goes up. From the I to the V it goes up. So we have 2 different subtraction parts. CC, that's 200s, plus XL. Got to reverse those and make it 50 minus 10. And then we're going to add again, because we went downhill right here, so this is an addition part. We're going to add, but right here we go uphill, 5 minus 1. Okay, this is equal to 40. 5 minus 1 is equal to 4. So we have 244. All right, well, that's it. Thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you next time.